All right. Good morning. Good morning. It's 6:34. I apologize for being late. I'm testing out a few things, testing out the morning process. Before we get into it, good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Here we are at the 6:30 Club. This is a group of individuals from around the world that have been sharing information, trying to get the day ready, approach it with a process and a plan, make money, and have some fun. We've been doing it since, 2020, and it's going to be 2025. Yeah, 2025. Everyone's like, Red Dog, what do you think for next year? What's going to be the hottest sector? Are we going to correct 10% and go down 15% finally after 2 huge years? Are we going to go to new highs first? Are we going to, break the head and shoulders top? What's happening? What are you thinking? First of all, as a trader, you think of many different situations that could happen. If this happens, then that. If that, then this. You have to have multiple plans. You have to be ready. If you say you have too much of an opinion of what you think is going to happen, you're not going to adjust when it doesn't happen because you're going to feel like you're wrong and your brain's going to be, I said this is going to happen, but that happened. It doesn't matter. We're traders. We trade actively for a living. So the bottom line is we need to be right the first week of the year. We need to be right the second week of the year, and we need to adjust if we're wrong. And if we do that, it doesn't matter what happens because, we have our process and our plan. And the only way you can have your process and your plan is if you're prepared. So what I am bullish on is preparation, routine, and process. What I'm bullish on is getting up at 4:45 in the morning and doing my 20 at 5:20, which we're going to do together, which you're going to learn more about. And then coming in the office with multiple plans with my mind right to execute with confidence on the X's and O's. Well, anyway, at this point, if you do go here and look at what's kind of happening, I was here on Saturday doing continuing education because you have to do that as a registered rep. And I kind of went with the chart and I'm like, is this a head and shoulders top? Is this the left shoulder? Is this the head? Is this the right shoulder? Now, a friend of mine in the institutional world sent me a few different reports on how there's this rebalance for for the last day and a half of the year, which sometimes happens, sometimes gets paired off where there's a huge equity sell and a bond buy to kind of do a little mean reversion just for everyone's statements from all the wirehouses. So with that said, hold on, something's going on over here. Let me see what's going on over here. Hold on. Anyway, so with that being said, we have to match up the charts. So if you go here with the SPYs are down $1.19. It's not a big deal. You have, remember this upper channel? We had this upper channel that broke 602. This was on Fed. This was when the Fed said they were, extra hawkish, and that happened. Then we had that red dog reversal buy where if you sold at 602, you could have been on buyer at 585 and saved yourself 17 points in the SPYs besides everything else you were trading. And then you had to reflex move up. What a quickie thing, right back to resistance where it retested. And then you had Friday, which was, not something that was at the end of the world or something that was so, off the beaten path. But definitely, if you didn't, trim into some strength up here, Friday could have hurt. And I had a down day Friday, but nothing so bad. It was just, down day versus how much was made prior to the week. So now, all right, let's go back to the SPY. So if you're thinking this is a head and shoulders top pattern, and that sellers are going to come in maybe today, tomorrow, and the sellers are going to have more strength than the buyers that start, the year, because there is new flows. In January, you come in, a lot of mutual funds are lazy, a lot of hedge funds are lazy to get all these flows, and they just put it to work the first, day or two of the year because that's what they do. They're not strategic. They're not precise like us. We're surgeons. We make money every single day or try to, and try and get paid every month and every quarter. They don't care. So if they don't get the best prices, put money to work because they have to. So anyway, if they put money to work because they have to, and all of a sudden the sellers that didn't want to sell in November and December, are stronger, then that's what kind of creates the whole, so goes the first 3 to 5 days, so goes January, so goes the year, because it's the measure of supply and demand, which we'll go through day in, day out. So in order for this pattern, to really ignite, first of all, it's got to get below and stay below 583 and 580, which we're up here. So you're just anticipating. And then it can't get back above 598 or 602. So sometimes you go sideways and build the right shoulder, which happens, everyone gets really bearish, and then it blows out the right shoulder, which would be first spot to blow it out would be 598. If you get above 598, we're not that weak. We get above 598, then you have 602. This is your real spot. If both of these things get blown out over the next week, there's no head and shoulder stop. If we open down today, $1.20, and we go down 3 and we break 590, that gives you some more clues that, hey, things are that weak. Maybe we're going to test this area, and then this pattern gets built, and then all of a sudden, 583 to 609, how many points is that? That's 7, that's 10, that's 17. You're talking about 25 points in the SPYs, which brings you down to, this 565 area. Very symmetrical, right? So I have multiple plans, and at this point, in mega cap tech land, in Mag 7 land, some names are below the 8-day, some are below the, are testing the 21 days. So for me, I'm not in a lot of the Mag 7 right now. I'll go over some of those names and some plans, but I'm just saying, to me, with the 80 lines being poor, with the potential of some type of, sell and bounce today, tomorrow, what I'm probably going to do is, just to be safe, which I don't have on now, I have some premium sold. Maybe I'm going to buy some 590 puts for tomorrow's close. So today's the 30th, for the 31st, I'm going to buy some 590 puts. If we break 590, chances are we could see this area, and that'll help me fund some of the options I have on for the January effect. Like some of those things that I have on for the January effect, which I went over with you, is like Oxy. To me, I started buying Oxy calls, into here because it was one of Buffett's only positions left, and so that this is kind of like a January effect. But if the market gets beat up and might get dragged, so I want to make I don't want to just lose money for being there. You know what I'm saying? I also bought some VAL, okay, which is called Polaris, which there's a huge fund out in Puerto Rico that a friend of mine's invested in, and he thinks that the company's more than fundamentally rock solid, and it's just been in a bad trend, and everyone's just selling it because it looks like crap, and they're pissed off and they want to move away from it. So I bought some options here. So these are my 2 energy, January effect names. Besides some of the little ones that have been working, like a BlackBerry. What a move, right? BlackBerry, we started buying here for the January effect, and it already started. Lucid started buying for the January effect, and it's already going. So some things went, and it was good to buy early, and some things are still bleeding. So at least you're in options. Like this, everyone's talking about this CELH, and if I had $1 for every bottom that everyone called here, I'd have a lot of dollars, but I'd be down a lot of money, just cost averaging lower. So I did buy some options, and here it's not working yet. I'm looking for some kind of clue that it started to work before I buy the stock. I'm just buying options, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Risk is premium paid. You could buy $100,000 worth of options, which I don't say you should do, or you could buy 2 to 3,000 to make 4 to 6. So I have some options here that's not working. So this time of year with 1230, I have a few January effect type of names. Some of them being names that were just battered and bruised. I have a little bit of energy, and I'm trying to, watch the leaders and see how they react to figure out what the market's going to do. And as of right now, I've been in Tesla literally, pre-election, post-election. It's been my number one stock, and at this point, I'm actually coming in today, and I'm not in Tesla. Red Dog's not in Tesla. He doesn't like Elon anymore. That's not true, except that, at this point, it's in a rebuild zone. It's been a huge winner. So I don't know if people are going to take some profits on it or not. All I know is we had a Red Dog reversal sell up here. Okay, you guys know that pattern, the Red Dog reversal sell. Break above, come back below. That is a sell signal. That's at least reduced size signal, especially when you were extended that far from the 8-day. And then I did buy it on this day when you had a Red Dog reversal the other way at 7,417. It does work that way too. And then I knew where the low was, and then trim some into another little area where it got above, couldn't stay above, and then I didn't take it overnight. So now here I am. What's Tesla doing today? Let's see. Tesla, I looked before. It's down 6. So I will figure out. Like my buddy Conrad, who's right over here, likes to day trade because he's been trading for a short period of time, which most people day trade if they've only been in the business for 6 months, a year, 2 years. Not everyone can carry positions like a portfolio manager that have been doing over 30 years. I'll see, is there a level I could buy against for cash flow? What was the low of whatever that last day was, Friday, 426.50. So the way I frame the morning is, okay, I'm not in Tesla, so I'm saving myself $6 because, it didn't give you any reason to be in it. Close below the 8-day. I like to be in Tesla when it's above the 8-day. That's one of my strategies. When it stops above the 8-day, it's strong. I try and stay in it. I try and add to it when it's making higher highs and higher lows. And then when it gets below, I'm like, whoa, it could be Tesla, but it could still be something that needs to work its way through whatever it is that's working its way through. So as of right now, Tesla is below 426. So what might happen is, just say it goes down to 420 and bounces to 422, and the spies go lower, and Tesla doesn't make a new low in the first 15 minutes. Ooh, a little buy signal, a little relative strength signal. You buy versus 420 or 418, whatever it is. You know what your morning low is, your downside, and then all of a sudden gets better. Then it wants to reclaim this, and then maybe it even wants to test the 8-day, which is a little bit higher, and you caught yourself a good cash flow trade, and it goes green, and you get a good entry. Just kind of like this entry here. You sold 484, you're over by 417. So, that's active day trading strategy. I feel bad. I didn't say hello to my dogs around the world. Let's see who we got here. All right. We got a lot of my friends. Everyone's tuning in. Conrad, you have to teach me how to get this kaleidoscope off at some point. Bobby, words of wisdom up at 445. That's my dog. You're going to turn Bobby 4.0 into Bobby 5.0. Good morning, James from Bloomington. We got Michael Deanopolis in the house. What up, what up? You're drinking Celsius now. I'd rather you have a little black iced coffee or a little Dunkin' Donuts. Those energy drinks have too many chemicals in them. I'm not saying that one does. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying. What up, Michigan? What you should do in Michigan, what I see is these sauna camps where they're cutting out, big spots in a lake, and they're all hanging out and going in a sauna, going in the lake for an ice plunge and eating seafood soup. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to look into it. What's up, Itz? What's up, Ali Hassan? Let's get it done in 2025. Yeah. A lot of big things to come. We got Glory B. Good morning, Houston. Hit the like button, people. Yeah, you guys get the like button if you like the Red Dog. I don't know what that does. I'm not, that much of a social media expert. But anyway, right now there are people tuning in from YouTube and tuning in from Twitter. We're going to be looking to have more platforms in 2025, so stay tuned. And again, so that's kind of like how I'm thinking Tesla. If you sold here when it got above and couldn't stay above. By the way, print out those sell rules. I always list the sell rules. I've been having the same sell rules for 10 years. And usually once the market gets hit, I'm like, guys, know your sell rules. Like, Red Dog, you're a little late. I'm like, well, no, I'm not. These sell rules have been the same sell rules for 10 years. If you can't get above and stay above, that means it's not having forward momentum. That means you have to trim some of your size. Or if it goes red, you have to trim more size. If it breaks below a prior low and can't even hold a prior low, that means something might have changed. It's another sell rule. Anyway, that's 426. So let's talk about Meta for a second here. Meta actually came off lows pretty nicely on Friday. Made a higher low. I guess let's see if we can make this pattern a little bit different here, clean it up. This used to be a big area, this 603. Now it's kind of building the right side. Last pattern here on Meta was when it broke 616. Okay, that was your upside wedge and came down to 580. I did buy a few calls in Meta. Is that one of them ones? Yeah, I bought some 610 calls just in case new money flows come in and they want to take, one of these higher. So I think, Meta is something to look at. Amazon really didn't do that. Amazon, it's not really zooming away right now. Let's see, Amazon, ANZN. It too, you want to bring this a little further out. Okay, so this held at 220 again. Couldn't hold 225. Remember on I think it was Friday, I listed like 8 different momentum levels or upper levels. I mean, if it doesn't hold those, it can get sloppy. That means it's going from a buyable dip that's easy into, hey, it can go wherever it wants. And what happened was it broke 224 and went down to 220. So now this is your new area here. So this really doesn't matter as much. Now that you'll see, does it stay below 226? Let's see what's Amazon doing today with these guys. So the spies are down $1.20. Oops. Spies are down $1.20, off a little bit. Tesla is off with it, not showing the relative strength. You go to Amazon, down 57 cents, which is not a big deal, right? Hold on, let me bring that over. By the way, this is what I have up on one of my screens. I have all these level 2s. Let's see what, hold on. Hold your horses, everybody. What I just said Meta, what's that doing? Down 259. So, all these things are down a little bit. So what I look at in the morning with the Alpha team, which is my crew that I trade with every day to try and create cash flow, get paid. They get paid monthly. I get paid quarterly. Some of them actually don't even trade for a living. They just want to make more money with their career. I'll see, what could be bought to go red to green if the SPYs want to hold above Friday's low and go green itself. And these would be candidates. What you do is you see the SPYs go in, all of a sudden, one of these guys don't go lower. And then when that bounces, usually they're the first to go because they showed relative strength. If all of a sudden the SPYs go green and these three stocks can't move, that means they're showing relative weakness and it's just a reflex move. And then if the SPYs turn lower, these things are going to make new lows in the first 30 to 60 minutes. That's just, a day trading kind of concept that I use every single day besides everything else that I use. Anyway, someone's like, Red Dog, what about, Tilray? Come on. Tilray is just a small little cannabis name that's been battered and bruised. I went to 300 like 10 years ago and I sold off a lot for talk selling. It's one of my January effect lists that I have a decent amount of. But again, it's just one of those things that I'm trying as a concept play. Someone said, why am I not in Nvidia? Well, Nvidia is kind of the same thing. It's kind of rebuilding. It's not as special as it was. I've been calling this thing a range trade. Obviously, it's made people a lot of money. As an investor, it's made you a ton of money. And now as a trader, does it hold 134.71? That's a simple thought. Sometimes you just have to simplify it. Red Dog is a pretty damn simple guy. I don't need a lot to be happy. I need my sauna. I need my ice barrel. I like the steak sandwich. I don't have French fries, so I save some calories. I have celery on the side. I do like a little IPA with my steak sandwich, which we're not going to be drinking in 2025 the same way. But anyway, so if you want to simplify it, does Nvidia hold 134.71, hold this inside range and head higher or lower? Now you have now it's kind of boxed here. So this will give us some clues on what kind of Nvidia we have for next year. So let's go to Nvidia, what's it doing this morning? It's down 77 cents. So we'll see. So simplify it. What are my dog saying right now? Ooh, a lot of people talking. Everyone's talking. PSQH. So I'm in a bunch of these little guys, that have been perking up. So we can get to that. But the bottom line is for Nvidia, does it hold above 134? Does it go green today? It could be a cash flow trade. If they want the market to go green today, chances are all four of these things are going to be viable for a trade. I just don't know. Again, there's a big sell and bounce. Sometimes the sell and bounce doesn't happen to the last 20 minutes of the day on that final day of the year. So don't start shorting now and all of a sudden we go green and it's like, oh my God, Red Dog's a piece of junk. It's not true. I'm just warning you that it's out there. So anyway, PSQH. So that's like one of these things that are like these little names that are working. Okay, I don't really know what this is. It came up with one of my guys from the Alpha team having a nice move, so I'm along that. Some other ones that, by the way, who caught Rumble with me? Whoa, Red Dog was all over this. A lot of this year too. Sometimes it was frustrating, sometimes it was great. If you guys remember down here, I was like, November 11th is the date. I don't know how I remember the date. There was huge option call buying. So I bought the stock, I bought options, and somebody knew that that the CEO was going to get stock friendly. I'm not in rum right now. To me, it needs to go sideways. To me, it's overextended. I feel proud that I even was able to hold a big percentage of my options that I bought for 60 cents. I sold them over 8. That's nice. So here's your weekly chart here on Rumble. I would wait. Kind of hit where it was, post IPO. So it needs a little bit of time. Could be a good stock to trade, into 2025 also. AMD is green. Someone always wants to buy AMD and someone always wants to buy BABA. Jeez. It's like stop with the old thoughts that were great, because some of these times the stocks break and they're a pain in the butt. Even like Boeing. So I'm the Red Dog, you missed Boeing. I'm like, Boeing is a battleground. Boeing could close strong and all of a sudden some plane crashes or something happens and then you walk in the door and it's down 4% and you lost your last week's trade. Look at Boeing. Boeing looked decent, kind of had a big move, trending. This was your spot to buy it. And then if you're still in Boeing, trailing some, this morning Boeing is down. It's only down 650, not the end of the world, but still, if you're long 2,000 shares, it's down 6 points. You're down 12 grand, and just say you made, 20 grand last week. That kind of sucks. So anyway, just be careful with some battleground names, especially coming into a certain time of year where you're like, you don't want to give money back. So anyway, for Boeing, What's support for Boeing? I would think right around here would be some support. This is the 50-day, this is the 200-day, this is 168. Where is it now? Boeing is, 174. It's well above that. So what's this little price point here? Hold on. This would be the other one. This low here is like 171. That's taking it in stride. But again, this was your spot where it got above and started a new active sequence. And then someone said, well, I'm in BABA. Why am I talking smack about it? Well, because BABA, I just seen so many people lose money in BABA that I won't buy the stock anymore. You could buy the Chinese names and something goes wrong in China, and then you come in the next day, it looks strong, and then you're getting hurt. So I just have some BABA calls. FXI for me is a trade for next year. I'm kind of thinking that China, I'd make you a pinky bet that the FXI is up more than the S&P next year. Pinky bet. Or we could do something else when we do Red Dog Mindset. We could have a little bit more fun than just a pinky bet. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff there. So what do we have here is, doing all right. I have FXI calls on. I have some NEO calls on. I have some BABA calls for January and February, just in case, China wants to continue. Everyone else is kind of quiet now. Let's see. You want me to look at AMD? I'll look at AMD for you. Did a little red dog reversal, made a little higher low. So I could see why you'd be in a little bit of it. Here's your low, higher low. I guess it could work back up towards this area, which isn't saying a whole lot. It's a broken name. Maybe it's a January effect. Maybe. Because look, from 174 down to 125, you could be down 50 points if you bought it there, let alone if you bought it, earlier in the year when people are all bullish on it, and if you didn't have sell rules. So, if you're in AMD, this is one of the names out of most names that you're probably down in. So people are probably like, screw AMD, I'm just going to sell it. So hey, maybe low, higher low. Maybe it's something. I'd rather see you take options than sit in it itself. And that's it, guys. It's 6:55. We're heading into again a day or two that can go a few different ways. We're heading into the rest of the week can go a few different ways. They say so goes January, so goes the year, because there is some cash, there is some flows behind it that could give you some clues. Meaning, if again you have huge winners and you don't want to pay taxes this March, April, March, April, then you wait until the first week in January, and then you could take some profits and some big winners, and maybe that sell pressure is more than the buy pressure, and then who wins what. Sometimes I'm going to short the biggest winners because they're going to come in, and maybe people don't sell them the first day, and new flows take them higher before that. So, just have multiple plans. I have multiple plans. It's been a great quarter. It's been I'll be honest, this wasn't my best year. It was just a better than average year because I got caught a little short in the end of August and then a little long in the first part of September, and I had to work myself back from a huge six-figure loss, which I did, which is how I grew. As a 52-year-old guy that's been trading for 30 years, I proved to myself I can come out of a major six-figure hole again and think clearly and, talk and advocate and do my job, right? Got to do your job. Always do your job. How's your mind going to be to do your job in times that are a little trickier, or times when your back's against the wall? That's what creates the true essence of a human. You do hard things. That's what builds self-esteem. You build self-esteem, you can overcome anything. And that's the truth. So with that being said, what up, Jerusalem? Good to see you. Hopefully everything's cool. What up, Mario? New beginnings. We're almost there. Trend spider leads to AMD. All right, so listen, get it done. I'm not talking smack. If you long AMD, put your stop in at 122. If it happens to get above, this spot, there's some room to the upside. Go for it. Oh, what's that from? Anyway, thanks for tuning in, my friends. A lot of cool, fun things happening in 2025. Stay tuned. Stay on your toes. Listen, some people are always like, I'm going to become, the new me in 2025. Not the case, guys. You don't have to become the new you. You've been developing yourself since, you're a baby. Sometimes you can become a newer, improved version of yourself. And how do you do that? With small incremental changes. Okay, first you have to acknowledge what you're doing wrong. First you have to be honest with yourself and say, hey, I'm not good at this because of that. Or I'm good at this because of this, I'm going to get better. So once you're honest with yourself on things you do poorly, you can take accountability, you can make small changes, and then you become a better version of yourself. Not a new you, just a little bit of a better version. Kind of like Bobby 4.0. He's going to be Bobby 5.0. I'm going to probably be Red Dog 3.0, but we're going to do it together. This isn't a show. This is a journey in life together, and that's the way we're going to do it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you during trading day, and I'll be in tomorrow morning as well. I appreciate you.